You're listening to my WorldNet Daily exclusive audio article. Today's WorldNet Daily exclusive audio article is entitled, Expanding the Permanent Dependency Class. I think this plan to drastically expand America's dependency class has been in the works for decades, and to be sure, the left has made progress. But until now, there has remained a stigma attached to becoming dependent upon a benevolent government for one's survival. There was still a desire to work for a living, to make your own way, and to take pride in doing so. However, the left, with its desire to control all things and thus all people, has done a marvelous job of simply changing the narrative. And as a consequence, it has changed the thinking of many. Temporary assistance transformed into welfare. But this was inadequate, as the name welfare still carried a negative connotation. So rather than help people back into the workforce, they merely changed the name again to entitlement. That took care of things for a time. After all, if you receive an entitlement, you must be entitled to, or somehow deserving of that money or service. For to be entitled simply means that you have a right or legitimate claim to something. And as we've discovered over the years, Americans are entitled or have a right to many things according to the left. Education is a right, health care is a right, and now it seems we've advanced to the final stage of the left's takeover, a right to a living wage. Yet not even us right-wing wackos could have guessed that the living wage doesn't even mean what we thought it meant even just a year ago. For a wage is defined as, quote, money that is paid or received for work or services, unquote. You know, the infamous fight for $15 and all. Thanks to the pandemic, the crisis that didn't go to waste, the term living wage has been short-lived and has been supplanted by Andrew Yang's dream of UBI, the Universal Basic Income. Yet you may have noticed that government autocrats are not calling it that. Not yet, anyway. This is their intention, but it appears that they want to ease us into it. So for now, the Democrats are just calling it stimulus. Other than infrastructure, it's the favored term of the Washington set. All leftist programs are infrastructure, and all handouts are stimulus. And the latest stimulus payment scheme is the child tax credit. Now, if you say, that's nothing new, you'd be incorrect. For those of us outside Washington, a tax credit, any tax credit, is a credit or deduction against taxes you've already paid. This assumes you've paid taxes, and because you have children, you are able to take advantage of the per-child deduction written in the tax code. This is not that, and isn't intended to be. Thanks not to the pandemic, but governments, many Americans were locked out of their jobs. And it's taken only a year of non-employment to condition a good portion of them not to want to return to the workforce. And of course, this is music to the control-freak leftists. Just this past Monday, as part of the latest stimulus package, the Biden administration announced, quote, that families will start seeing monthly payments beginning in July, unquote. They're calling it an enhanced child tax credit. An estimated 39 million families, and it'll be a lot more, will begin getting monthly checks for every child in the home, and the younger they are, under the age of 6 years, the more they'll receive. And the great part, the recipients won't even have to lift a finger to receive the checks. No application, no nothing. Combine these checks with all the other benefits they receive, and it's likely that many will not have to return to work. And it gets better, or worse, depending on your point of view. In order to, quote, build back better, unquote, Nancy Pelosi stated that, quote, we must make this lifeline permanent, unquote. Other radical leftist lawmakers also chimed in saying, quote, these monthly payments cannot simply stop after 1 year or 5 years. We must make this change permanent, unquote. And there you have it. Call it stimulus, call it UBI, call it what you will, but in just 1 year, the radical left, it appears, has been able to exponentially expand America's permanent dependency class. And as evil as this is, it is a stunning achievement of the left, for they know that once they begin handing out free stuff, very few politicians will have the courage to stop it. Thank you for listening.